All right, today we're going to show you how to prepare Schedule C in Janus Bankruptcy Software. If you've been watching the videos, the first one we did was the petition, the second one we did was Schedule A, the third one we did was Schedule B, and finally Schedule D, the Secured Creditor Schedule. Now I will tell you that in order to do Schedule C, of course, we had to do Schedule D first to put the liens on it because Schedule C is about equity. We want to take exemptions in equity. Now, if you watch the Schedule D video closely, you'll notice a few discrepancies. I did adjust the amount of the principal mortgage lien to give the property a little bit of equity because I want to show you how to take a homestead exemption using Janus Bankruptcy Software. So we're going to start with Schedule C. We'll go back to James Albert. And remember we did Schedule A, rather the petition, we did Schedule A, we did Schedule B, and we did Schedule C. So now we're going to, Schedule D, and so now we're going to do Schedule C. The exemptions in real and personal property, which is something I'm sure you're most interested in if you're filing for bankruptcy, because that's probably what you want to know about most, is how you're going to keep your property and file for bankruptcy. Well, here we're going to show it to you today. Now, there's two kinds of exemptions that we don't know what state you live in, of course, but the most commonly used exemptions are the federal exemptions, and they're used exclusively in about 23 states, and many other states give you the choice of either their state or the federal exemptions, and some states require that you use only state exemptions. But the federal exemptions are the most commonly used exemptions. So that's what we're going to demonstrate with today, the federal bankruptcy exemptions. Now you'll notice we have one Main Street, which is the homestead, is showing $14,000 of equity. That equity is non-exempt. What that means is that the trustee in bankruptcy may be interested in trying to sell that property and liquidate it to get at that equity and pay off some of your debts. Now, I'll show you how we can avoid that from ever happening. And you don't need to be an attorney to use the bankruptcy software on the exemptions. As you see, the program is picking exemptions for us. So when we highlight one Main Street, it's showing 522B2D1, which is the homestead exemption. And if we go around different properties, you'll see there's going to be different kinds of exemptions highlighted. And the program is going to do all this for you. It's also going to give you the actual statute section that these apply to, so you certainly can read them and understand them on your own as well. So here we go. Now what we want to do is we want to get that non-exempt equity out of the picture. So we've got $23,675 of room in our federal homestead exemption. We're only going to take $14,000. Before I do that, I want to show you one other thing. In the federal exemptions, you also have something called a wildcard exemption. And you can use the wildcard exemption on any property whatsoever. Doesn't matter what it is. Any property that you own, you can put it on. If there's no other exemption that applies to it, you're going to use your wildcard exemption. So, an example of a property where there's no other exemption, specific exemption, bankruptcy exemptions don't give you specific exemptions for boats. They're kind of considered luxury items. But what I'm demonstrating here is that we're starting out without a homestead exemption. Our wildcard exemption, the maximum of it under the federal rules is $13,100. Now, when we take a homestead exemption, that may go down. But not to worry, the program is going to calculate all this for us. So let's go ahead and take $14,000 of our homestead exemption and put it on the non-exempt equity. Add exemption. Now you see what we've done is we've moved that non-exempt equity over into an exemption value. And once in that category, the trustee can't touch it. Now, like I said, the taking of that exemption may affect the amount of our of our wild card exemption. So as you can see, the $14,000 did cut into the wild card exemption. We still have $10,925 left. There's quite a lot of property. So let's get back to business here. Next thing on the list is the Dodge. It's got $2,000 of non-exempt equity. And the proper exemption is 522 B22, which is the motor vehicle exemption. We only need to take $2,000 out of that $3,775. As you can see, we moved the non-exempt equity over into exemption. That's where we want it to be. Now, like I said, there's no specific exemption for a boat in bankruptcy, but we've got the wild card exemption. So if we want to use it on this Pearson, which is a 28-foot yacht on our property schedules, we can use it. It all depends on what property you want to put it on. So we'll take the $5,000, and as you can see, now the $5,000 that was non-exempt equity has gone over to exemption value. Next is the furniture. Of course, we're going to keep our furniture. Total exemption value on the furniture is $1,265 on all household goods and furnishings. We only need $1,200 of it. And as you can see, that has gone over now into exemption. Now, electronics, believe it or not, under the federal rules, we don't have a exemption for TVs and iPhones and stuff like that. A lot of states will give you that, but under the federal rules, you've got to use your wild card exemption. So remember, we took $5,000 out of that wild card on the boat. There's $5,925 left. We're going to put $1,200 of it on the electronics. And once again, non-exempt equity is zero, which means the trustee can't touch it. Golf clubs, yeah, we're going to keep our golf clubs. Use the wild card exemption, $250. We still have plenty of room. Smith & Wesson, guns, yes. We have wild card exemption room. There's still $44.75 of wild card exemption left. So let's take the $750, another $750, put it on the guns. Now you're almost down to the end of the list, and there's nothing that's non-exempt. Let's go all the way to the end and see whether it's still true when we get to the end. All right, so the household goods, we took 100 of it. There's still 11,425 left. Put another 100 on the everyday clothes. High school ring. We do have a jewelry exemption under the federal rules. It's up to $1,600, so that'll cover usually the wedding ring and the watch and the engagement ring for most people. We only need to take 25 here. Yard tractor, that's going to be a wild card. Okay, there we go. We still have room left in the wild card. $37.25. We'll take another 100 on that. As you can see, that's gone over now. Bank of America. Okay, cash in the bank. Yeah, we want our cash. And we got $3,625 of wild card left. So let's take that another $500 out of it on the cash in the bank. Now look at this, $250,000 in an employer-created pension plan. That's a lot of money. But guess what? Employer-created pension plans, there's an unlimited exemption in these kind of deferred compensation and retirement plans. No matter how much it is, you get to keep it by taking this exemption. All right. Now there's nothing left in the non-exempt equity except our tax refund. And remember, we discussed the tax refund. You do owe a portion of the tax refund to the bankruptcy estate if you're getting one, unless you can exempt it. And look, we have $31.25 left on our wild card exemption, and we only need $2,000. Yeah, exemption. Now that's gone over. Now, as you can see, everything that had non-exempt equity is now exempt using Genesis bankruptcy software. So You've kept your home, you've kept your car, you've kept your boat, you've kept the furniture, you've kept your iPhone, your TVs, your golf clubs, your guns, your clothes, your jewelry, your yard tractors, your savings accounts, your pension plan, and your tax refund. And that's how you can use Genesis Bankruptcy software without being a lawyer. So thank you for your interest in learning about our program. And we will be continuing onward with this and other videos. The next one we're going to cover is Schedule E.